Boker Tov, everyone. So last year we finished the 10th Perek of Pesahim in Mishnayot. So we're going to go back to the beginning, which we didn't do, the first Perek. And here it talks about Bedikat Hametz. So the Mishnah opens, or le'arba asar, or of course means light. But here it's what's called Lashon Sagi Nahor. It's nicer to say daytime than nighttime. And sometimes, therefore, day is actually used as night. So the light of the 14th, and it's a time of light because of Pesach, etc., but it means the night of the 14th, which is the night before Pesach, we check for Hametz with the candle, with the light of a candle. Now, this concept of Bedikat Hametz, the Torah doesn't say, Hashem tells Moshe, go and check Hametz. It doesn't say that. Bedikat Hametz is midei Rabbanan. But it is in order for us to avoid the Torah commandments of Bal Yerayu, Bal Yamatzeh. The Torah commands us, you're not allowed to own chametz. Not just you can't eat it, not just you can't benefit from it, you can't own chametz as well. That's why we sell chametz. And you can't therefore see it, Bal Yerayu, Bal Yamatzeh. Lest you see chametz, lest you find chametz. So therefore, the Chachamim were worried that, let's say a person cleans, etc., and then what's going to happen is in the middle of Pesach, they see a drawer and they find a nice cake. Like, oh my gosh, this cake is here. I forgot about it. You know what? I'll eat it after Pesach. I'm not going to eat it on Pesach. I'll eat it after Pesach. But then you've just restored ownership to it. So we want to make sure that you're going to check before Pesach to get rid of all chametz. And this rabbinic check, but it's going to, that's the full intention. You're not going to have any chametz in your ownership. And you're going to make sure to check those places so that you don't accidentally find things and want to have them. Or, chas v'shalom, a step further, that you might find something and actually eat it. So make sure that you have to make a check and a search to get rid of all your chametz before Pesach. In Mishnah, the car as well. That's your car, you eat in the car. You gotta, if you accidentally find chametz, on Pesach, if it's on the holiday, on the Chag, it's muktzeh, you have to cover it though. So make sure no one eats it, no one touch, cover it. If it's al chol moed, burn it, dispose of it, put it in the sewer, flush it down the toilet, get rid of it right away. Obviously the chametz that you didn't sell, chametz that, right? The Mishnah continues, any place that you don't regularly put chametz, you don't need to check there. As far as the halakha l'maaseh, this is, if let's say you know, I never put chametz in here, then you don't have to check that place. That is good for adults that know, and they know, I never bring chametz to the bedroom, let's say. We never eat in the bedroom, ever. The wife will kill me, right? Never bring food in the bedroom. So if you know that, you don't have to check the bedroom. But if you have kids, they take stuff everywhere, especially young kids, right? Or if you have grandkids that come over, so therefore there's no control, you have to check everywhere. But if you know in certainty, then you don't have to check there. And then the Mishnah continues, V'lama amru shte shurot b'martef, makom shemachnisim bo chametz. Mishnah says that people used to have in general a wine cellar. A lot of wine in Judaism, and they have a wine cellar. So when you go to the wine cellar, sometimes you're going in the middle of the meal. Oh, we need more wine. And you don't want to just leave you're in the middle of eating. You don't want to leave your meal, and sometimes you take the bread with you while you're walking. So go get some drinks in the garage. You take some bread with you, take a last bite, and then you go to get the, right? So too, they would go down to the wine cellar. We're afraid they're going to go with their pita, but then they need to get the wine, so they put their bread on top somewhere, they get the wine, and then forget about their bread. And there's chametz there. So the Mishnah says, what?
It's chet if you don't clean. But the Zohar says that whatever you check chametz, it's a mitzvah.
Okay, yeah. So now, the two rows, so the Mishnah says, there's two rows in your wine cellar that you need to check. Because if a person's getting wine, you're not going to go to the back to get the wine. You're going to go to the closest one. So there's a machloket. What are those two rows? Bet Shammai Omrim, shte shurot al penei kol hamartef. The explanation here is sometimes people go in the the way to say it is like, let's say there's a few rows widthwise and there's lengthwise. So according to the Bet Shammai, like an L shape. Sometimes people go right when they get in, this first row, and imagine there's rows going this way and rows going this way. So all this is wine. So Bet Shammai says like an L here and the first row along this entire area. Bet Hillel Omrim shte shurot achitzonot she'ena elionot. Bet Hillel says if your barrels are stacked, you're not going to get from the bottom one because you have a whole stack. So he says you have to check the first two rows, top two rows. That area you need to check for if there was accidentally any chametz that was put there, etc. Last Mishnah, small one. En choshishin shema gerira chulda mibayit labayit u'mimakom lemakom. We're not worried that maybe a weasel or an animal took chametz from your house and moved it around from house to house or place to place. Dim ken v'chatzer chatzer me'ir la'ir en davar sof. Because then there's no way to track it. Because if I'm worried, oh my gosh, I have a whole field, I have a whole backyard. Let's say I know I don't go to the back of my backyard and eat there, or I have a big field. So if I'm going to say, well, maybe animals took chametz from my kitchen and spread it all around, so my chametz is everywhere. Well, don't worry about that, because then you won't end. You drive yourself nuts. So things that are out of norm, don't worry about it, right? Because this holiday could bring a person to OCD. Like, oh man, check it. Take it easy. Mishnah says yes. Check where you usually check. Check where you usually bring chametz. Check in the first two rows. Now, don't be extreme, because then you could drive yourself nuts. Don't be extreme. Don't think the animals are going to take my chametz there. Maybe check every. Then in la davar sof, there's no end to it. So that's the Mishnah telling you right after. Don't be extreme as well. Baruch Adonai le'olam amen v'amen. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashia amar tzad kadosh baruch hu lezakot et Yisrael lefi echach ribar lem torah שנאמר אדוני חפץ למען צדקו הגדיל תורה וידיר.